Hi guys, hope you're all doing well. Welcome back to my channel. Today's video is going to be a very different kind of video, one that I've never done in the past, and it's going to be a budget with me. I've never done these types of videos because personally I don't really watch them. I don't always find them entertaining, like a cash stuffing, but I want to do it just, once and discuss some of the points that I missed to discuss with you when I did my how to make a budget video. I feel like there's a few key things that I missed to mention in that video, and also there are a few things about my budget that I want to change. I was debating whether to change this in January as we go into the new year or to change it now, and I thought I'm very excited to do this now, so I'm going to do it now instead of waiting. And yeah, we're also going to have some new categories, so let's get started. So I am filming this on October 31st, which is, Halloween night. I did not manage to do my Halloween nails. I done a much simpler brown version of them. I really like them, and I've had them on, I think, almost a week now, maybe a week, and they're still holding up really well. I'm really happy. Before we get on with the video, I want to do product of the week, as I've got used to doing. This week's product of the week is Angel's Share by Killian. I have a 10 ml decant here that I got online before I bought the full bottle, and I'm so happy I got this. This is incredible. It's incredible. If you are thinking of buying it but you're not sure, try to get a sample or a decant. Here in Romania, there's a website that sells a 10 ml, and it's absolutely incredible. There's a cognac note right at the top, which smells so sexy. I think it would smell even better on a man, but I love it. There's cinnamon, tonka, vanilla. It's just all kinds of goodiness. I know this is extremely expensive compared to the other perfumes that I've shown to you, but this is definitely worth it. I've seen online that there are 2 Arabic fragrances that are duping this. I'm just going to put them on the screen so you may research them. I have not smelled those. I have not tried those. I only have the original Angel's Share, and I definitely think it's worth it, especially for fall, winter. This is amazing, and this lasts so well on my skin, especially on clothes. It lasts even longer. So yeah, this is the product of the week. All right, so we're going to do a November budget with me, but before we do that, there's a few things that I want to discuss about. First things first, I realized in my video of how to make a budget, I didn't exactly tell you guys how I make the budget. I just showed you like how I do it, and that doesn't give any insight on the behind reasons. There are various ways to create a budget. A very popular one that I've seen online is the 50-30-20 method, which shows that, if this is your all your budget, 50% would go toward bills, 30% would go toward living expenses, and 20% would go to savings. Now, if you can do that, great. Personally, I don't like that. I don't like some percentages telling me where my money should go. I don't really do that. I prefer to do a different method, so to say. So the way I create a budget is through the pyramid method. I'm sure you are all familiar with the pyramid of Maslow, the pyramid of needs. So I create the budget on a needs and desires basics, sort of. On the bottom, we have rent and bills. These are expenses that you need in order to survive. You cannot do without them, and you always have to have them paid first. Then we have living expenses, which include groceries, household money, any other stuff you may need around the house, which ensure that your household is functioning properly. Then we have debt and savings. You need to focus on paying back your debt if you have any, and you also need to focus on savings. There are other methods online which put the savings before anything else. I don't agree with that. I don't agree with putting money towards savings first and then taking care of your living expenses and rent and bills, because it changes the proportions of your budget. So this is how I like to do it. After that comes the spending money, which either way, if you're doing a spending allowance type of thing or you're just spending the rest of your budget anyway, it includes that. Any clothing, makeup, beauty, electronics, everything that you need to be spending your money on, but you don't have to, but it's because you want to, comes into this category. And right at the top, I have the fun category, which for us includes entertainment stuff like going out, going to the movies, and traveling, because traveling is quite a big part of our life and quite a big part of our budget. But I only budget for that at the end. After everything else is taken care of, I can budget for traveling. Of course, I will not be budgeting for a vacation if I can't pay my rent and my bills, or I can't buy food that month. So this is the way I do it. Now, this way, it doesn't have to be a zero-based budget. You can still have leftover budget. Like I said in my video, I found that a zero-based budget was very, very limiting to me. So I stopped doing that. And with this method, you can do a free budget. With this method, the 50-30-20, I think you are kind of doing a zero-based budget. I've never done this, so I can't advise on how it works. I think there are better content creators online that would do that. Yeah, if you are looking to do something similar, just sit down, think, where does my money have to go? What does my money have to cover? And you figure out your own way to create a budget. Now, I've also sat down and thought about how I make a budget. I budget our money on a monthly basis because I get paid once a month and he gets paid throughout the month, but we always know at least approximately how much he's going to make, so we know how much to budget for the upcoming month. Now, I've realized I don't particularly enjoy this method now as much, because it means that even before I get the money is budgeted, the money is allocated, and sometimes your needs and your necessities can change throughout the month. And I don't really like going and redoing the budget halfway through, or even worse, going into other categories of cash envelopes and taking that money out and reallocating it. I don't really like that. I feel like I'm losing the progress. I feel like it's just not a good vibe to me, and I don't like it. I know that people in America, they get paid on a weekly basis, so they budget paycheck by paycheck per week. Now that for me would be a little too much budgeting, a little too much math, and a little too much work. But I've decided that instead of budgeting monthly, I'm gonna be budgeting bi-weekly, so every 2 weeks. This means that the money comes in, right? Like you get paid beginning of the month or whenever you get paid, and you only budget for 2 weeks. Your necessities, I find this to be a little difficult because my mind is set on a month, not 2 weeks, but a month. This is what I'm going to be trying to do starting with November. I do find it a little bit difficult. However, if you get paid bi-weekly, like on the 15th and on the 30th, I used to have jobs that paid me like that. So naturally, I would kind of have to budget like that. So without further ado, let's get on with the November budgeting. I'm gonna call it paycheck number 1, but it's just gonna be a part of our paycheck. Now, I mentioned in one of my previous videos that I have to update my budget sheet. So I went ahead and did just that. Now it reflects all the categories that I have in the same order as in the binder. So it's a little more organized. Now with my bi-weekly budgeting, I'm not going to be taking out the same amount of money each time. All right, so let's get started. So I'm going to write the date here. And we're going to budget 3,000, which is for October. All right. So we're going to start with our bills. So like I said, I have a total of 3,000. So let's see. For gas, I'm going to budget 200. For electricity, I'm going to budget 20. For water, I'm going to budget 20. For DG, I'm going to budget 100. Garbage is going to get the full 40. Pets is going to get the full 200. And car insurance and car maintenance are getting 50 each. This is normally almost the full amount for a month, but I'm not exactly sure if I want to add more or if I want to add less. If I'm going to add less the next paycheck, I'm just going to add whatever how much. This is for a full month, this is for a full month, but we need to order food for the kitties. So in case the envelope is depleted, we're going to add again in the next paycheck. And these I am trying to bulk up in advance because I really need to grow those envelopes. So I'm going to add 50, and maybe in the next paycheck I'm gonna keep adding 50 if I can. All right, so let's see how much we have for bills so far. We have 200, 20, 20, 100, 40, 200, 50, and 50. So we have 680. I'm just going to write it here. Next, we're gonna go personal spending. For groceries, we're gonna add 50. For entertainment, let's do 30. Dining out, let's do 50. I have a new category here called car. Currently, it's going to be money to buy a car, but after I get the car, it's just gonna be, you know, money for the car. It's different than car maintenance. Car maintenance is something else. This is going to be, you know, gas money. Let's say if I wanna wash the car, or if I wanna buy stuff for the car, like car freshener, you know, stuff like that. But for now, it's going to be to buy the car. So in car, I'm gonna add 50. Household is getting 30. Tattoo, I should really go get that tattoo, so I am done with this fund, but I'm just gonna keep adding to it until I get the appointment to go. Driver's license is gonna get 10, and miscellaneous shopping is gonna get 300. All right, so let's see how much do we have in this binder. We have 50 plus 30 plus 50 plus 50 plus 30 plus 10 plus 10 plus 300. So that's 530. Now, a lot of these categories, I mean, all of these categories already have money in them. They're ongoing funds. So obviously, we're not going to eat out for 50 lei for 2 weeks. That's not realistic. We don't do that. Groceries is also not going to cover it for 2 weeks. We get our meal voucher tickets on a card. So this is just for ongoing funds. All of our funds have money in them. If you are just starting out, yes, they're going to be empty, but in a few months, you'll be having enough in there to get you going. So yeah. Next, we're going to go to our sinking funds. So the first Sinking funds is emergency fund, and that one is gonna get 50. Pets care is a new category, so I want to have like their own fund similar to emergencies, but it would cover any vet visits, anything that is non-food related. So I want to have that for them. I don't want to call it emergency fund for the pets because it gives me not the greatest vibes for my cats. So I just want to call it pets care because it's for their own care. So pets care gets 20. Trips is getting 100. I have an upcoming trip in November, so I need a little more money in there. Normally I would do a lot less. Vacation is going to get 20. Christmas is going to get 40. And birthdays is going to get 70. I need to bulk up this envelope because in December I have, I think, 5 birthdays, including mine. So I want to make sure that before December, I have enough money in there. And health is going to get 60. So in our sinking funds, we now have 50, 20, 100, 20, 40, 70, and 60. So that's 360. So I'm going to write that here. All right. Then we're going to go to our savings. And I have the same 3 big categories for savings. First one is personal, which is just savings for no purpose. We're just saving to save. Then we have another category that was called extra savings. Now these were savings for a purpose. This year the savings were for a new car, which I've reallocated to my car envelope, and I'm going to keep saving in there. So this, I'm going to continue saving in this category. I don't know what purpose for, but I'm going to continue. So I called this envelope just savings. And then the last category for savings is for a house. So in personal, we're going to add 30. In savings, we're going to add 20. And in home, we're going to do 200. I tried to split these equally for a month, but in the next paycheck, I might do more, I might do less. It really depends. So in here, we have a total of 250. And then next, we're gonna go to my allowance. I have this on my budget sheet because I like to know in advance what I'm gonna do with my money. And I'm also splitting this sort of halfway for 2 weeks. Before we do that, let's see how much we've budgeted from the entire paycheck. So 680, 530, 250, and 360. So we've budgeted a 1,820. So we have a leftover of 1,180. So right off the bat, 500 is gonna go to my husband. So I have a leftover of 680. So let's see, 680. Okay, so in giveaway, I know I want to add 10. Shopping, let's do 150. Food, 60. Beauty, let's do 20. Let's see. So minus 10, minus 150, minus 60, minus 20. Okay. Oh, did a mistake. Beauty, oops. Beauty's gonna get more. Beauty's gonna get 70. Cosmetics is gonna get 20. Clothing is gonna get 200. Books is gonna get 20. So let's see now. 150 plus 60 plus 70 plus 20, 200, 20, 10. Okay, we have 150 left over. So in transport, I'm going to do 30. I have a new category. I forgot to add this. It's going to be savings. My savings, I'm going to just save money in case I need to buy something more expensive, or I just, want to have my own savings. So I'm going to add 50 to that. So I have 70 left over. So I'm going to add that into clothing because I might be buying some winter clothing, and those are usually more expensive. All right, so let's just double check that I did everything right. 150 plus 60 plus 70 plus 20 plus 270 plus 20 plus 30 plus 10 and plus 50. So that's 680. Now, just out of sheer coincidence, this paycheck budgeting ended up being a zero-based budget. Normally, I would always have some type of leftover that I would put into a category called aside, or I would just move it into my income envelope. But this month, this first paycheck ended up being a zero-based budget. Just to further show why I don't really like the 50, 30, 20 method, if I were to do the same method with this spreadsheet, I would have to take half just for my bills. And I don't need that much. I don't need that much. And I already have a lot of money going in my bills envelopes, so I don't really need to cover that much. Also, 20% would have to go to savings. I don't even think this equals 20%. Let's see. 360 plus 250. Actually, I think that is. Yeah. Wow. That's something. So these two ended up being 20% without even wanting. Okay. Yeah, just a little over 20%. But again, for my bills, I don't need to put 50% of my paycheck, and I just prefer doing it working from the pyramid bottom up. It's just what really works for me. All right, so that concludes this video. I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know it was a new type of video. I hope I answered some of your questions, and I'm going to be seeing you guys in our next video, which is going to be the actual cash stuffing of this paycheck. So stay tuned. I'll see you soon. I hope you have a great Halloween. Bye.